Hi guys, Hannah here. Welcome back to my channel. If you didn't already know, there's been like a rise in hate crimes against Asian Americans, people in the API community. What better way to honor Asian people than to just like lift up their voices and talk about their work? So I'm gonna go over some of my favorite books, and I guess we'll start off with American Born Chinese by Luen Yang. He is Chinese American, but like his book, he is an American Born Chinese. This is a comic book. It's like a collection of short stories, but they all sort of tie in together at the end. I read this book for my Honors American Lit class in junior year. I love that class. It follows like this Chinese boy who moves, and he is the only Chinese person in his class, and it's basically like what he goes through. And then there's also a story about like Danny and his Chinese cousin comes to visit him. The art, like, okay, Luen Yang was also like one of the creators of Avatar. Like, he did the comics, so we already know that like this is gonna be good. But like the art, there's so much like references inside the way he depicts certain characters, the coloring, just all of it can be deconstructed, and you can have like really great discussions about assimilation, Chinese stereotypes, and everything. We can see how distorted a person's cultural heritage can be through the lens of wanting to be white. But hands down, this is like one of the best graphic novels that I've read. It has a lot of great commentary. After that is A Faux Love Story. Okay, so when I originally filmed the video, I realized that I pronounced the author of A Faux Love Story's name wrong. Her name is Long Lei. At least that's how my mom told me I should be pronouncing it, so, you know, I'll trust her because she actually speaks Vietnamese and I don't, so. Oh my gosh, the characters, the romance, oh, they're so adorable, so wholesome. Like, I was rooting for them to get together. Like, besides that, it comes down to like representation, and I felt really seen. And so she is Vietnamese American. Her family comes from South Central Vietnam, just like my mom's side of the family. A Faux Love Story is a YA romance about like two Viet teenagers who are the children of the owners of rival pho shops. So it's like a little Romeo and Juliet. There's a lot of great representation about like Viet families, immigrant families. It's really relatable, especially growing up in a household where you like constantly hear about like my mom's escape story from Vietnam and everything. So I felt really represented, really seen when I read that, because I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that totally happens in my household too. Oh yeah, she also says that. It's not just for Vietnamese Americans. Like, I feel like a lot of Asian Americans or like immigrants in general have a similar dynamic in their own house. We get to explore a lot of Vietnamese food, like bun sao, which is like these Vietnamese crepe, savory crepes. We also have like pho, and we got like all these foods that I've grown up eating. It really meant a lot. Another thing about this book that I really enjoyed is that Vietnamese is integrated into the dialogue. I really enjoyed that. I had to get my mom to translate a lot of it, but you know, it was really fun to read, really nice, really cute. There are aspects of the book that touches upon racism and bias, like the fob accent and everything. Overall, it's still really cute, lighthearted. It's not that hard, not that heavy of a read. So if you're looking for like a cute love story, a cute little romance to read, I definitely recommend that one. And then flipping over to, I guess, like a heavier adult contemporary book, I would say Little Fires Everywhere by Celestine. She is also Chinese American. However, this book doesn't really center on Asian characters, but it does touch upon what it is like to be Asian in America, and that is an idea that's central to the plot, because one of the main points was that this white family was trying to adopt this Chinese girl who was abandoned by her mom at a fire station, but now her mom felt like she was ready to take care of her child. So obviously in the custody hearings, we have this Asian lawyer who's talking about what it is to be underrepresented in media, what it's like to not feel seen. And like, we had this whole debate about like, oh, if a child is in need, then definitely go to a parent, like go to a family who is willing to provide and have that love. They're more financially stable than this, the biological mother. Obviously it should be that person. Then it's also like this white family wasn't equipped to teach the child about her cultural heritage, and it really just like emphasized how important it is to feel seen, to be represented. Like Celestine, like she really brought up all my thoughts on like adoption, especially interracial adoption, and specifically white parents trying to adopt a child of color, because some of it can seem very I guess, transactional. They're trying to adopt child of color in order to like gain social status for like, look at how philanthropic I am. Look at how selfless, how great I am. I'm adopting this child in need. And like, I just don't think a child should be used for that purpose. And like, I say this coming to you as an adopted person, you know, just like food for thought. After that, this is a YA book that I read when I was in elementary school. It has to be 3rd or 4th grade. But I read A Single Shard by Linda Sue Park. She is Korean American and she has a lot of books published, but I think the only one that I read was A Single Shard. I remember loving this book so much. Like, I just kept raving about how great this book was. And then I got to the final twist and I was like betrayed. I was like, oh my God, you did not just do that to me. You did not just toy with me like that. But I was so hurt. I was like ready to riot. So basically, A Single Shard is about an orphan. His name is Treat Ear, and he wants to make pottery. So he eventually becomes the helper of this like master potter named Min, and Min gets royal commission, and Treat Ear has to deliver said commission. This book was set in 12th century Korea, so it's historical fiction, and I'm not a fan of historical fiction, but this was a really great book. I think that says something if I enjoyed that. It's been a while since I read this, so I can't really like tell you about like certain aspects of the plot, but I remember how beautiful this book was, how much I loved reading it. So I like definitely think that you should check this book out, and also like maybe some of other Linda Sue Park stuff. You know, who knows? Finally, the last book that I read Trick Mirror by Tolentino. She's Filipina, but she was like born, I think, in like Canada, and then she moved to Houston when she was a kid. Trick Mirror was one of my top books of 2020. You can go watch my review of that there, but this is a collection of essays on like pretty much everything, being like a woman, drugs, being on reality TV, sexual assault, all that stuff. I personally didn't find it like amazeballs, but like it was really well written, really well researched. Those are some of the books that I've really enjoyed by Asian authors. Obviously, there's gonna be more in the future that I can amend this list. Those are some books that you guys can check out. I will be linking resources for Stop Like Asian Hate and everything down below. Hope you check that all out and stay fresh, and I'll catch you later.